Antarctica is one of the most remote places in the world, therefore their diet is limited to what they can actually import.
And with that, they have what I would consider a pretty weird culture of foods. So for the next 24 hours, I'm gonna be eating nothing but Antarctica's weird foods and diet.
For our first meal, we're starting off with pemmican and sledge biscuits.
And I know those sound incredibly appetizing. Pemmican is a mix of fat and dried meats. When explorers would travel, they need a really high calorie snack that would last a long time. And so this is just an absolute calorie ball that they could eat and store. In the interest of saving your time and honestly just not doing too much, I got really high in beef jerky and really high in beef tallow so we could try this absolute monstrosity without making it look ridiculously complicated. Oh God, it smells like dog food. Don't buy health organic jerky, just buy normal jerky. Jesus. The first thing you want to do is kind of blend your jerky into almost like, I don't want to say dust, but crumbles. So that way it could really absorb into a bar shape. Taste that. It's not bad. Better than it smells. So this should be enough to make crumbles out of. And we're just gonna blend it until it's ready. I never plugged it in. My God, it's just getting stuck. And for those of you who have tried to blend your jerky before, what are you doing? Why? I'd say this is pretty blended up beef jerky, a sentence I never thought I would say. The beautiful thing about pemmican is it really only takes 2 ingredients. I'm gonna take some rendered down beef tallow. We shouldn't need too much. It's really there to act as a binder for our sawdust. I'm gonna throw this in the oven just to kind of get it a little more liquidy. While we're waiting for the fat to reduce down, I actually want to introduce you to one other key important staple. Could not imagine a more important part of any balanced diet. They call it spot and dunk. Now we call it beer. And they brew their own beer, which I'm sorry guys, I'm not gonna do for this video. Comment down below if you wanna watch. I actually used to brew my own beer. But their beers are notoriously dark, really calorie dense. I don't know if you guys are starting to see a theme, but when you're trying to survive in the harshest environment, you kind of want really calorie rich foods. So I've gone ahead and grabbed peanut butter dark. I think this is gonna be a perfect pairing for our calorie rich diet. And let's go ahead and just try our spot and dunk. Yep, that's amazing. I think the Antarcticans might be onto something. Is that Antarcticans? That's why they call them Antarcticans, not Antarcticans. I actually want to believe one of the few luxuries they might have in Antarctica is frosted glasses. Kind of makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pour my spot and dunk into a frosted glass. Now that feels like authentic spot and dunk. I've taken our beef fat out. It really melted down, so you can barely see it. But I'm gonna go ahead and take it, mix it in with our sawdust here. Don't wanna put too much in. Let's go ahead and just do a little mix. A lot of mixing on today's video. Now that it's all mixed up, I'm gonna go ahead and just pat it down to make it into a almost solid bar shape. If I'm being honest, it actually smells really good. It's high quality beef fat and high quality beef jerky mixed together. I hate to say it, the Antarcticans might be onto something. They might go 2 for 2. And now that we've got it mixed together and really compacted down, we're gonna go ahead and put it in the fridge to let it cool off and become bar form. To pair with our pemmican, we're gonna be making sledging biscuits, which is an incredibly simple, incredibly common for expedition biscuit. A lot of the foods coming up are even crazier, but we're gonna start by just putting 2 cups of flour inside of here. And we're gonna mix in half a cup of butter. Oh my God, this is so much butter. Well, this is why they have so much energy. And before we begin adding in our other ingredients, you want to kind of mix these two together first to make kind of a rough, crumbly texture. This is gonna take a minute. Now, I don't think it'd be common for them to have something like a stand mixer in Antarctica. So that's why I'm gonna be doing everything by hand and with whatever tools I think they would have in Antarctica, because I want to make sure I have the real, full, painful experience. Now that our mixture kind of looks like a crumbly Parmesan, we're gonna go ahead and mix in half a teaspoon of baking soda and half a teaspoon of salt. And this is, you really only need 1/4 cup of water. So we're just going to add in the smallest amount of water and mix and see where we get. Because you can always add water, but you can't remove water. And we're just gonna keep adding in 1/4 cup of water at a time. You really wanna take your water slow. Like I said, you can always add more, you can't remove more. Okay, now our dough's really starting to come out. Oh yeah, this is making some real dough. This might actually wind up being pretty similar to almost like a buttery croissant. because croissants are really high butter as well. So I think surprisingly, sledge biscuits might actually be better tasting than their name lives up to. Our dough is about, oh my God, the gluten is having a field day with this. My God, it's like a denser pizza dough. And now we just want to roll this out on a lightly floured surface. We want to get it to about 1 centimeter high. Like I said, the gluten is going crazy on this. I think these are actually going to be some amazing sledge biscuits. I know this isn't a pizza, but I just can't resist. Okay, look at me working it. Oh my God. Really? I can open a pizzeria. All right, now that we've got our dough, we're gonna pre-cut it into rectangles. And you actually wanna pierce the top of these with a couple of fork holes. This is to make sure they don't blow up too big or expand too much in the oven. Now the recipe doesn't call for oil, but I don't really wanna spend the whole time trying to stick this off my pan. We're just gonna space these out. These feel dense. I actually feel like it's gonna be really good. It's not gonna be just some like gross concoction. Okay, our sledge biscuits are ready. Now we need to just let them cool. So I'm gonna just go ahead and pick one up and try it. It's not bad. It basically tastes like nothing with a little bit of butter. Now, technically, the way you're supposed to eat it is you're supposed to just absolutely smother it with butter, like more than you would ever be comfortable eating. And that's because, again, their goal is to have as much energy as possible when you're burning, 5,000-6,000 calories a day. Let's give it a shot. It's something. It's not the worst, especially for this video. There's gonna be much, much worse coming up. And now I just took our pemmican out of the fridge. This looks truly awful. Truly just terrible. Let's dig in, let's see how this goes. This is why they have spot and dunk. That might be one of the grossest things I've ever had. If I had to survive in Antarctica, I could maybe eat that, but that was awful. Now I'm really regretting that my next meal is gonna be hoosh, which is a mixture of pemmican, sledge biscuits, and melted snow. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and heat up our pan. We're gonna make some sploosh. Hoosh. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up our pan and make some hoosh. So I actually don't have snow. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some ice cubes in there to melt down. I think that's close enough. We're gonna go ahead and just throw in our pemmican. And this is supposed to make kind of a soup. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of crush up a sledge biscuit. And this might be the greatest soup I've ever had. I'm gonna kind of just finely chop our sledge biscuits up in here, try to reduce this down. This is gonna be just an absolutely homemade soup, just like Mom used to make. Oh my God, it's bubbling. I think it's just all the fat and the beef tallow, butter and the sledge biscuits, making like a stew. I wish I could tell you I was excited to try this. I really wish I could, but I'm doing this for you guys. So, if you're enjoying this, please hit that like button, because otherwise I just ate this for nothing. I hate to say, oh my God, I'm gonna go open my window. It's getting really steamy. All of my neighbors are gonna smell the hoosh and be like, oh my God, I'm so jealous. This is looking a little too thick, even for porridge. Just reduce down some more snow, bring the soup back into this. The color is just like terrifying, but I could see if you're trying to survive in Antarctica being like, yeah, this is a meal. Mixing up the normal sledge biscuits, something warm, makes it warm instead of just normal. And voila, our hoosh is ready. I'm gonna go ahead and just pour myself a bowl of hoosh instead of eating out of the hot plate like a, uncultured. You know what I'm calling it? Maybe it'll be good. Maybe I'll go back for seconds and this will be my... It's not that bad. Might be good. Where's my spot and dunk? Genuinely, I know it looks a little dramatic because I'm like gagging, but the hoosh is not the worst thing I've ever tasted in the world. The texture is just awful. Everything, the beef and the oh my God, I can't talk. Spot and dunk is absolutely carrying the Antarctica meal so far. These are just really dry and boring. The pemmican is genuinely one of the worst things I've ever tasted. Combining them together, I get why they do it, because it's a warm meal, and oh my God, that is miserable. Miserable. I I think our next meal is gonna be a little cooler. Just preheat our pan here to the max temperature of 450. So Luna is actually gonna taste test this dessert with me, but not yet. I pre-prepared authentic Antarctic ice balls. So let's go ahead and get that on the stove. Really get it working in there. We're gonna go ahead and just grate some ice onto it. And the beauty of a dessert like this is you can have it in the cold or warm. We're just gonna go ahead and pour some into our bowl here. Luna, what do you think? Do you like it? Luna. This dog eats everything. I can't believe she doesn't want to eat this. I guess we're gonna have to give it a 0 out of 10. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Peace.